Yeah, can we go just end the show? Just end this fucking.
What the hell was that? What the hell was that? Nuggets just lost. That's honest to God, I think one of the worst losses of the year. I know the context of it. Guys coming back from COVID, this or that. That was the worst team I've ever seen, that Pistons team. That was such a bad team. Defensively, they were atrocious. This was unbelievable. This show might suck today. I'm just going to get it out of the way real quick. This show might suck today.
It's going to suck, my guys.
I think it's going to suck. Right?
This show's going to suck.
A lot of people are on, Thanksgiving break, or so you might grab a little eggnog. Is it too early for eggnog? Is eggnog after Thanksgiving?
Yeah, dude. Nobody has eggnog pre-Thanksgiving.
So like Saturday, Friday, you can get eggnog.
Yeah, you nog it up.
All right.
People consume eggnog?
I mean, in theory.
I think eggnog is more a punchline than an actual...
It is a punchline for sure. Yeah. Eggnog's kind of a gross thing as you get older. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Losers Lounge. Presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, Mercy Upgrade Sportsbook app. It's got D-Line over here.
Hey, guys. I hate basketball.
Over here, I got Dev.
How are we here in the Losers Lounge?
How are we here? How are we here? It doesn't make any sense. I'm telling you, that team that they fielded over there. Alec Burks was the best player. Alec Burks the best player.
Yes.
You have out there. Nuggets have Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon. Like, what the hell just happened? This one has no shortage of things for me to be extremely frustrated about, and we have to talk about all of them. Because look, there's things
all of them.
We have to talk about
1 hour long show.
Because there are things that's like, okay, how reactionary can you be? It's one game, it's the Detroit Pistons. It's not a game that necessarily matters. Although every game matters, especially at home. You need to stack wins. You need to be like, this move. Denver could have been the number 1 team in the West tonight. They could have ended. Instead, they're going to be the number 10 team or number 9 team.
Jesus
I mean, I know it's early. These things are volatile. But this was one of those ones that was a just take the win night. Just take the win, and the Nuggets couldn't get it done. Let's go through a quick recap here. But first of all, it started at the very beginning. And I will say this. The Nuggets in the Jokic/Malone era have not been great with crazy variables. I really believe this. Things change last minute. Team's not good. Pistons started this game 8-0.
I know.
8-0. Right out of the gate. And the Nuggets rally right back because, of course, the Nuggets are way better. They could do this. Yes. A 20% effort from the Nuggets gets a win tonight. Bogdanovich was on fire. Malone issued a very emotional challenge. I made this comment on Twitter. Coach's challenges, we can get to it later. I'll just put a pin in it. But Malone used his challenge on a play that was he didn't even look at the replay. You know how coaches will usually wait for the replay, let's look at this and then let's challenge. Malone just walks out on the court we're challenging it. Had no chance of getting overturned. It wasn't even a long challenge. The refs kind of went to the monitor and were like, yeah, that was exactly what we thought was going to happen. But it actually came in really important because
down
there were so many challenge moments tonight in this game, and you use it in the first quarter on Jokic's first foul. It was the lowest leverage play you could possibly imagine, and there was no review. It wasn't like he was looking at it and decide. It was pure emotion from Michael Malone, and it came in. It's maybe a harbinger of things to come, as Chris Marlowe says. Nuggets up into first quarter 29-28. Bones is playing with the second unit. 12-5 to start for Detroit in the second quarter. 12-5. Nuggets were up 1 point, immediately blown into a 6-point lead. And then Denver was missing everything tonight from outside, but they were getting second chance points. There were second chance points to be had anywhere, including what I thought was a phenomenal second offensive rebound from Christian Brown. He gets pulled after 3 minutes tonight. Played 3 minutes tonight, and he gets pulled. You know what's funny? I thought DeAndre Jordan was so bad in that first stint that Christian Brown got benched. That's how bad he was.
Yeah, it sounds like a snap kind of joke.
It really, really is.
DeAndre Jordan was so bad, Christian Brown.
Jokic and Murray back in. They immediately tie it up because they went to Jokic on 3 straight possessions, and Jokic, I think, had 8 points in those, an assist for a 3, and a layup. The story of tonight was the Nuggets could have made this so easy on themselves by just kept going to Jokic. But after that, Detroit calls a timeout. Denver comes out of the timeout. 3 straight possessions. Jokic doesn't touch the ball. It was a 9-0 run for the Pistons.
It was so stupid.
A 9-0 run out of a timeout when you're like, let's all evaluate why did we just get back into this game? Was it because Jokic was brilliant and dominant, or was it because I can ISO my guy into a sidestepping 3? 57-58 Pistons at the half. Murray, I thought in the third quarter is where it really shot. Murray, I thought was bad all night long tonight. But the third quarter to me was the most egregious because he played so slow, walked the ball up every single time. You watch the clock. He got it over half court as it clicked to 16 every time, like he almost got the violation. But then they wouldn't even get into their sets until there was like 12 seconds left and you run the first action. It's going to be a big talking point tonight. Michael Malone furious. He brings Davon Reed in for some reason instead of Christian Brown. It was a complete backfire. And then the Pistons are up at the end, 83-81 at the end of the third. So you think, all right. Fourth quarter, and I knew the game was going to come down to the first few minutes of the fourth quarter. You knew it was. Jamal Murray's out there with the bench unit, and the Nuggets immediately went down 12 points. 12 points.
God.
From 2 to 12, so Jokic has to come back in. He's coming back from COVID. He plays 37 minutes tonight because you have to bring him back really early. He got hit on a play by Duren tonight, Jalen Duren, and the ref missed it. Yeah. And I thought Jokic was going to punch Jalen Duren.
I did too.
I honest to God thought Jokic was like, are we close enough that I can come back, or should I just take a foul and get ejected? He got punched in the face in front of the official, and there was just nothing there. They played zone defense down the stretch. They kind of made it close, although I thought, personally, the way they made it close in the final minutes was because they're a million times better, but also because they got a little lucky. Like, they just kind of hit some shots that you were like, all right, whatever. And then the final 3 possessions of this game, Jamal Murray misses a layup. Back-to-back possessions where Jokic doesn't touch the ball in the half court meaningfully. They don't get it to him, on an elbow or on the block. And then there's no timeout. 90 seconds left. Malone's all out of time. Because he used rage timeouts, by the way, like these teaching moment yet mad timeouts. And he has no timeouts over the final 2 minutes. No challenge over the final 2 minutes. No way of stopping, advancing the ball. So now you're down 3 and you have to bring the ball all the way up, which you can't do in the NBA. Everybody fouls. Corey Joseph fouled, so they couldn't do it. It was just a disaster class from the Denver Nuggets, not named Nikola Jokic tonight, and maybe not from Aaron Gordon. Those are the 2 guys that I think you can kind of recuse yourself of. Although Aaron Gordon did go 0 for 3 on free throws at one point. Really rough. All right, that's the quick recap. We relive the lows here.
Man, I want to die.
That was horrible. I'm telling you, that was a horrible loss. That was such a horrible loss that I feel the team needs to have pressure on them over the next week because you can't let that that's one. And I know the Nuggets will bounce back. There's a lot of excuses, but that in terms of hey, anomaly or whatever. But that to me was a game that you had to have won, and now it's 2 in a row at home. The Knicks and now the Pistons, 2 bad teams in the Eastern Conference that you somehow let slip through your fingers. All right, Dev, I'm done. Take it away. What's your takeaway?
The biggest takeaway is the Nuggets chose the worst game to have their worst game. They're coming off of a performance where the second unit was really, really well as starters, where they played encouraged basketball, got them their biggest win of the season, and they back it up and have their worst performance. If you want to argue about where that game was lost, there's a lot of things you could pinpoint, but I think the biggest thing was the second unit got demolished in this game. Absolutely destroyed. To the point that it forced guys to have to play a lot longer than they expected those guys to play. Jokic hasn't played in a week. He's played the most minutes in the game. Jamal Murray hasn't played in a week. He had to play 34 minutes. The guys had to come back and just kind of be in a tough spot. And that's where the second unit is supposed to hold their ground, especially against the Detroit Pistons, who have nothing to play for. That was not a trap game. People saying that was a trap, nothing about that was a trap game. It was a team not showing up, and the other team not even really wanting to win, but pulling it off. So, horrible performance, really.
So disgusting. Oh, my God, dude. Murray looked so bad. He looked like he was still very much sick. He was very slow. He was making bad decisions.
But also had no competitive spirit because I understand those things, but you're a competitor.
Yeah,
I hate that fans care more than the players do on nights like this. All the time. You look at this and you're like, is it what is it? What is it that you don't care? That was a game he didn't care about today. Walking the ball up in the clutch. You're down 8 points. Just walk the ball up.
Just walked it up.
What are you doing,
No, this was a really bad game from Jamal Murray. I mean, there's a multitude of factors working against him. We don't know how he's feeling. Perhaps this was actually a heroic effort by him to actually play tonight. We don't know how he's feeling. But
they would have been better without him, honestly, tonight.
No, it was really bad. It was really
Honestly,
bad.
They would have been better.
It was really
Jamal
bad.
Murray tonight.
Those last those last 3 possessions at the end of the game were just I mean, he made that horrific attempt at a layup, whatever that was, and then KCP ran into Jokic and dropped the ball. Like, what are we doing, man? There are so many nights like this in the NBA because there are so many games, and like that's the best and worst part about it. But like a night like this, where the worst part about tonight's game is that it was supposed to be like we were blessed by getting our players back. We were sure we were going to lose. Like we were, if those players didn't come back and we lost, we'd be like, well, what are you going to do? But they came back and we lost. We're like, oh,
it's the worst. It's like the worst.
So much worse.
The basketball gods played the worst trick of all time on us tonight.
The worst, dude. The worst.
Just an absolute troll job from the basketball gods to be like, watch this. They're not excited for the game. I'll get them excited and then really ruin their night, maybe their entire week. Let's just go to Jamal Murray here because 3 of 12, he was bad tonight. Bad is one thing. You can be bad. Like, it happens. I know some people might point out, like, hey, he was a plus 13 tonight. He was on the court when Jokic was on the court.
Yeah.
The Nuggets have a great starting lineup. Yeah. They were going up against a team that is trying their best to lose and is missing probably their 2 best players or 2 of their 3 best players. They're missing them. That's the only reason you're a plus 13 tonight. Should have been a plus 40. Should have been a plus 20, 25. This game should have been put far out of reach. But the biggest thing to me, and this is the one that's tough, is this is a Jamal Murray trait, not just a – because Jamal Murray has been good early on in the season. I think he's kind of hit a lull right before – maybe it is the sickness. Maybe there's a little bit –
to me, it's clearly he
even the Knicks game?
No, the Knicks game was like he would. Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. This is the last 2 games that Murray has played. He has dominated the ball in the fourth quarter. Yep. He has walked the ball up every single time as if he's like dead tired and he can't move. Walked the ball up, dominated the ball, taken 4 shots, and then just give it. And you're like, hey. And tonight, at least against the Knicks, it's like, all right, you're missing a bunch of guys. Jokic dominated tonight. 31 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists. He could do whatever he wanted.
Yep.
The difference between Jokic and Luka Doncic, to me, there's only one difference because they both dominate. One is that because Luka is a guard, he doesn't need anyone to give him the ball.
The ball, right?
He just has it. Tonight, all Jamal Murray had to do was get Jokic the ball in the first quarter, in the second quarter, in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter. And it's not that he couldn't do it. It's that he just didn't do it. Walk the ball up so there was 10 seconds left on the clock before you make any type of read. And then, down the stretch, for whatever reason, just like not getting him to the ball in his spots so that he could cook. It was so easy for him tonight, Dev. Get Jokic the ball. It was layups.
Not only was it just layups for Jokic, who it just is easy. He's doing whatever he wants in the game. But Aaron Gordon had a mismatch for the entirety of the game. You have 2 guys down low that you could get the ball to who should have the ball in their hands, especially with Detroit Pistons have no big man. They had nobody that could guard down low, and now he has 2 options, but no, instead he wants to take shots. And it wasn't falling for him. He went 3 for 12 from the field. Yeah, he had 8 assists, but of course you should have 8 assists if you have the ball in your hands a lot and you have 2 guys that are scoring at will. This was a easy game where you just work yourself back into the flow by getting it to your best player. At any point, they should have said, get the ball to your best player. And that also is on the coach. How do you not tell Jamal, tonight's not your night to score?
How do you not? See, this is the thing. Malone is always focused on certain things. Everybody's this way, right? Part of what makes a person successful or not successful in life, I really believe this, is what you're focused on. If you're hyper-focused on the wrong things, you're working extra hard on things that don't make the biggest impact.
Like the Nuggets?
like the Denver Nuggets. Like, what are we doing?
Why am I focused on this fucking team?
Why are we doing this? But, Malone gets so focused on certain things. Like, I would love to know why Christian Brown got benched tonight.
No kidding.
Oh, my goodness.
Why was he the guy that was like, you know what's bad? Him. Because he was bad. Or they were bad when he was out there. You changed him and nobody else. Bones also came out. The bench was just as bad after. That's like, clearly you did not solve the problem. You blame the rookie, who, by the way, is only out there to defend and grab rebounds, and he was doing those things.
It really is bizarre. There are moments in a lot of Malone-led games where you're just like, all right, it feels like there should be some sort of like rhyme or reason behind this, but also it feels like there's not. Like I don't even exactly like why would
he probably miss? We'll go back and see it. He probably missed something that Malone just hates when you miss it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I hate when guys don't.
Right, and then David Green came in and then turned the ball over 3 times.
He was so bad.
He missed the opportunity to get a rebound. He just was a complete disaster himself. Chucky didn't see the floor. Zeke Naji played good.
Zeke Naji was a minus 23, by the way. But I think that was
Nothing but bad happened around him.
when he was out there.
He played pretty good though.
Yeah, I actually didn't think that he stood out in necessarily a bad way. I mean, Bruce Brown also a minus 19 tonight. That whole bench is just an absolute dumpster fire tonight.
Bench was horrible. And then also when Bones Highland goes out of the game, you just expect some type of adjustment to try to change what it looks like. I feel like there was like a bit of staggering, but not with the right guys. You staggered with KCP and it was okay.
Right.
And then Jamal Murray was who he decided to stagger with on a game that he's trying to come back and get himself going. Also, that's an easy adjustment for a coach. Hey, Jamal, we put you with the second unit. You couldn't get it going. You couldn't score. Now you know what to do. Get the ball to your big man. Get the ball to your best player, or we're going to have to put you on the bench and play a Bruce Brown or play someone else that has been showing like that sense of urgency, that is showing that they want to compete and at the high level. And tonight it just didn't seem like Jamal wanted it. And, he could have been, not feeling like his best self. He's coming off of an injury as well as
I don't think it's
COVID.
obvious he was.
But also, why not just give it a different try?
Exactly.
Don't play.
Don't play him. He's clear. Like again, this is like on Malone. Like Jamal Murray clearly looks like he is being encumbered in some way, form or fashion by the time off, still feeling sick, something. He just doesn't look like himself. So okay, like put Bruce Brown in for him, like or whatever. Like.
Yeah,
Jamal shouldn't have played as long as he did. I mean, I don't want to, because I really don't want to harp on Jamal. You think about like what this is for him. I mean, he's coming back after missing a full season. He has to sort of like rediscover. I'm sure he still doesn't have full confidence in his body at times, and it is maddening though. He is playing incredibly slow, like. At all times, he really just is playing incredibly slow. Oftentimes that works. I mean, Jokic plays really slow. He and those two.
No, but this is the thing. Like, transition basketball is better than half-court basketball, just in aggregate, for every team, including the Nuggets.
Yep.
So the more you can get out and run, especially when it's actually more when you have Jokic, because the earlier you can create a mismatch, that's where Denver creates mismatches early in the half-court and then punishes them because Jokic, you can't, if you get mismatched on him, it's over, right? If you punt on that, though, and that's what happened, you get a defensive rebound and hold it for 3 seconds, then walk the ball. Like the team's like, all right, match up with our guys, and now you're down to 10 seconds with no mismatch, and it doesn't make any sense, and that's what happened tonight. But here's the point you were saying with Malone. You have to hold guys accountable. Murray is the heartbeat of the team more often than like when we know he's a gamer. When it matters, like he locks in and he takes the team's intensity up several levels. He didn't have that tonight. And if I'm Michael Malone and I'm watching this was I made that comment I think in the third quarter because it was so obvious in quarters 1, 2, and 3 you finally make it, and then in quarter 4, to me that's where as a coach you have to hold these guys accountable and say that's the thing that's killing us right now. It's not Christian Brown's whatever it was that I saw. No, Murray, you got to get the ball up, get it up quickly, get it to your spots. Attack a scramble defense because Jokic is making light work of all of these guys. And the fact that you didn't do that is just absolutely absurd to me. I mean, this was, to me, it's crazy because Jokic 31, 9, and 10. I thought he was so easily in control tonight. They just didn't get the ball.
He was pure Jokic. He was exactly like what you expect to get out of the big guy. I mean, he just does whatever he wants. He works at his own speed. He is literally unstoppable when he decides to be. Going down the stretch, I mean, I really, like, things didn't look good, but I was like, anything can happen with Jokic. Jokic can do whatever he wants. Like, Jokic can score every time down, and he was scoring every time down until all of a sudden, he was not given the ball in the biggest moment of the game, several in a row, wasn't even given the ball, and we faltered. And it was ugly, and it was frustrating, it was irritating. I can't believe we just lost that goddamn game. I'm not talking anymore.
Jokic is the DraftKings Sportsbook king of the game, by the way.
Yeah, hell yeah, he is. Let's go. Crown the king, baby. 9 rebounds, a soundboard double.
I hope Jokic rips these guys tonight. Like, I hope this is one of those ones where you're like, he's got to be like, what the hell? I honestly wonder what Jokic thinks about the slow pace. You know what I mean? I honestly wonder what he thinks. Because that's a thing he could tell him, like, dude, you need to get in better shape. Like, you need to run it up, and if you can't, then you need to get in better shape so that you can. Because this is, definitely. To me, it's insane that you would play this slow when you have a guy like that.
And it seems like it's something that he wants to do. He's doing the rotation. He's trying to get them going early. They miss him on a lot of post-ups where he's, like, having to work extra hard to get to those spots. But, yeah, it has to be, like, vocal. Because, honestly, this is a game that Jokic could have probably scored 50 in. Like, you could have fed him every single time and got him the ball, and he scored. It was a very efficient night, 12 of 16, from the field. Didn't even take a three-pointer because he was just so big. He had the mismatch, and that's when you have to feed a guy like that. Not only did he have a mismatch where he could score every single time, but he made the right play when he had the ball in his hands. He has 10 assists in the game. Just uber efficient in the game. So I don't understand why he's not getting the ball every single play. Late in the game, there was a couple of possessions in a row with the game on the line that he did not get the ball.
They're really, really bad
How
possessions.
hard is it to just get the ball to a guy? And usually, there's like a little bit of excuses that you can make, but this time, like, they're not playing him too, aggressive where he can't, establish himself or get himself. Like, that was a team that had no answers for him, and it was a bailout by not getting the ball in those type of situations and those scenarios, and that's something that they truly have to work on, and that's with no guard play with Jamal Murray. That's with coaching. Tell the guys, get the ball. That's with Jokic demanding the ball. Like, that was a great game for him that could have really been a monster game.
Yeah.
Should have been a monster game, honestly. Like, I mean, he was so dominant. Just get him the ball. We have Brendan Vogt, who's talked to Michael Malone already, so let's bring him in. He's live at the arena.
I'm going to guess that Michael Malone was unhappy with the defensive
I
effort.
hope he was unhappy with himself. Vogt,
What's up, fellas?
tell us, how was it at Ball Arena tonight?
Was Malone mad at himself?
It was an up and down energy in Ball Arena. Folks filed in, unsure of who they would see play tonight. Slowly, news trickles in that you're going to get to see the stars. You could feel the energy pick up. And then the Nuggets couldn't defend the Detroit Pistons, so that took a little bit of wind out of their sails. That fourth quarter run, the energy was unreal. It briefly felt like it was meant to be. If you've been in Ball Arena for enough of those moments, you know what it feels like. The Nuggets were on a roll, and then a couple of deflating, decisions there down the stretch. And I think it was a really frustrated crowd filing out of the arena. It was a vibeless night, then maybe a chance to be very vibey, and all of a sudden vibeless once again. So
Before
you
you
really
get,
felt that.
yeah, before you get to your notes though, Vogt, tell me what you're talking to Harrison and some of the other guys around. Like, how did you guys analyze this game?
Well, I mean, I think you got to start with the bench, personally. I think you got to look at a bench unit that got outscored 53-22 tonight. And that seems particularly relevant because we saw a slightly different bench unit. I'll be frank, I thought it was a really bad game for Michael Malone. And, we saw some different things. The KCP stagger instead of Jamal or Murray, maybe he overthought the stamina thing. That's one decision, okay. But then we see a dreaded five-man bench lineup later. They get absolutely clobbered. Then in the second half, it's Christian Brown over Davon Reed. So I think some of these factors, fellas, that made tonight kind of weird coming in, caused Malone to overthink
100%.
a rotation that has worked for him and has worked for this team. And so I think you're looking at Jamal's poor performance and Michael Malone's tough, poor rotation, and a bonesless bench really, really struggling.
We were talking before we went live, and I said that's one of the traits. Like one of the knocks I have on Michael Malone is I do think that he really struggles when new variables get introduced. And tonight you got all new variables. It's like they had no idea these guys were playing, then they were playing. And I think you're right. Like, all right, well, I can't play him too many minutes, so I'm going to stagger here, and I don't have bones. And then and you do this, and it's like, come on, man, like don't simplify things for yourself here. All right, take us inside. What did Michael Malone have to say?
Well, Michael Malone thought that rebounding was the difference in this one. He talked about the offensive rebounds, particularly Duren. He says they outworked us on the glass. You're not going to win many games when you're unwilling to box out Duren. What did he finish with? I think it was 4 offensive rebounds for him. There was an advantage in second chance points for Detroit as well. Oh, I'm not sorry, not an advantage. Actually, the Nuggets.
I was going to say Denver out rebounded them and had more offensive rebounds. So I'm not all right.
That was his first, So
that was his first comment was rebounding. Like, all right.
Like, can you believe the rebounding? Let me just look at.
Yeah, it was, which I didn't really agree with, and now I'm looking at the box score trying to make it sound like a good quote.
I'm telling you, it's over-indexing. It's over-indexing. I'm sure this is why. Christian Brown didn't play. I'm sure he gave up a rebound, and it stood out to him so much.
There it is. There's the problem.
That's the
Get
problem.
Get out of there.
He also talked about the turnovers. He said offensively it was a horror show. Finally, he got around to the bench disparity. He was then asked, how much do you think, no Bones Highland or a limited Bones Highland to start affected the bench? And Malone said, well, hey, he's a great player, but it's about a group, and the onus is on me as a coach to help that group get going without its best player. Malone was frustrated tonight. If he didn't drop the hammer on anyone, and I think, some of his opening comments were about actually low expectations for tonight, which I wasn't expecting. He said we were working some guys back from illness.
Get out of here with this. I'm telling you, I've got to say something.
Uh-oh.
When George Karl used to be on the show, and look, it's another coach, and George is a rare example of a guy who will criticize other basketball coaches. You ever notice basketball coaches won't criticize?
He does not care.
He said, he does not care. George will openly criticize other coaches. He's criticized every coach in Denver. Football coach, basketball coach, it doesn't matter. George Karl will throw him under the bus. But here's the thing. He said on the show, and I never noticed it until he pointed it out, but he's like, Malone always will bring up excuses. And then he'll say he's not using them, but he'll bring them up, which is using them, and then say this.
Just to tack onto that, he did later in a separate answer say no excuses.
Yeah, exactly, but he doesn't use them. Like, why say that? You bring them all up.
I like that move.
Look, man, we were sick today. We had a lot of variables. But there's no excuses, you guys. There's no excuses.
I like that.
But we did get in late. We did get in late last night, but you can't.
We got in late, and look, man, I thought there were some calls that went against us tonight. A lot of calls, but there's no excuses.
There were a lot of goddamn calls. There were terrible officiating, by the way.
There was terrible officiating.
I think it's really easy throughout the course of the season to find some frustrating losses, to look at a team that has more talent and say, well, it's got to be the coach's fault. And it's really easy to say that, and it isn't always. I thought Malone played a major factor in this loss tonight. So
that's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah, this isn't a fire Michael Malone takes or anything like that. It's just like, hey, I thought he had a bad night, and I hate that he brought up an excuse. I hate it.
I do too.
I thought you framed it well, though, man. I think you kind of nailed the bottom line there. When there's too many new variables, Malone sort of kind of loses his way, and maybe that was part of the story tonight. So anyway, he did say he expected Jamal, Aaron, and Nikola to all struggle tonight. I'd like to point out 2 of those guys did not struggle whatsoever. He didn't think it was a lack of effort or a lack of focus. You got to give Detroit credit. That part is true. Detroit did play really hard. This is still a terrible loss, not making excuses. On
a lot of non-excuses being.
We should do the rest of the show this way, can't we?
Let's do non-excuse corner.
Right.
Why are we having such a bad show? I mean, I'm tired. Adam's been grumpy, but we can't hold. That's not part of the equation. We got to step up and do our job.
Setup? Is this a great setup? No, but I mean, when you got all these lights in the background, it's really hard.
I got to say, this is your top effort so far to this point. Awesome. And I think we can hear you better, too, which is good.
Well, a little behind the scenes magic going on. I don't want to pull the curtain back too far. There's
no excuses. No excuses.
Michael Malone on playing guys returning from COVID illness. Harrison Wind asked him, was there any thought then of holding these guys out, game time decisions despite clearing protocols? And Malone said he expected them to trouble. And Malone said no. Ultimately, it was their decision. And once those guys felt good enough to play, I wasn't going to shut them down. That's about it from Malone. We saw Aaron Gordon as well, spoke with him. He said it's a frustrating loss, but in frustration you can find growth. There's a reason that we're frustrated because we didn't do the things we needed to do to win, but we got to find the growth there. On the final play, he said he got a good look. It was a good missed free throw set. That, they kind of had a strategy there that they liked, and Gordon found the rebound. He said, I just think I faded away a bit too much.
Yeah, he went a little early, but those plays, man, you don't know.
No,
it's a tough.
If you are pinning your hopes and dreams on that play,
mayhaps
you've made some terrible errors leading up to that.
When he shot it, I thought there was no time left either, and then there was 3 seconds left. I was
it was excruciating.
Yeah, but I mean, come on.
Bogdanovich. Ultimately the starters won their minutes. Bogdanovich was the leading scorer again for Detroit with 22. I say again just because it feels like every time he personally plays Denver, he turns into a superhuman. I asked Aaron Gordon what makes him so tough to guard, and he says he's just one of those guys that uses his size to create matchup problems. He is too big for a guard, but he is too shifty for a big, and he can shoot the ball well. Ultimately, though, I think we did a pretty good job on him tonight. Maybe more true in the second half than the first half.
But like I said, fellas.
But I mean, in the second half, they did a great job. First half, he was cooking them. But, ultimately, again, personally for me, this one comes all the way down to those bench minutes and rotation decisions. And, it's tough when a guy's coming back from COVID. You don't. But keep it a buck. It was not a good Jamal Murray night, and that layup that he forced down the stretch, it was not a good decision. So sick or not, there were some decisions you don't really like from him there, but the ball stuck with him way too much. And the Nuggets, I think this is Detroit's first road win this season.
It is. It is definitely is.
Hey guys, we got to give it up to the Detroit Pistons. Great job tonight, guys. I know you're fully defeated on the road. But congratulations.
If you want
give
a team,
it up to them.
they honestly are pissed that they won this one. They won Wemby. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I know. The owner of the Detroit Pistons snapped a pencil at the end of the game. God damn it.
And they can't believe they didn't, fellas, because, again, no Sadiq Bey, no Cade Cunningham, no Isaiah Stewart.
Hey,
No
you
problem
gotta give
for
it
the
up.
Detroit
You gotta give it
Pistons
up
on
to
the
them.
road.
That was a bad team, honestly. They were missing way more.
What the fuck happened?
They were
tonight?
missing
What
a lot.
was this game?
A mess. What else you got?
That's it for me. I know Wind is waiting for Jokic right now. I can't believe this was a game where they couldn't buy a stop. I just can't believe Christian Brown's only minutes were the grenade lob minutes of the 5-man bench lineup, where that lineup never stands a chance, especially when Bones isn't playing well. And then in the second half, it's Davon Reed, and I think we all like Davon Reed. We all understand what he has done in the past, but to me, that decision is flummoxing. Is that the right word?
Are you flummoxed?
Flummoxed, yeah. I don't know if
I
that's
feel
a...
flummoxed.
I don't. Yeah, it's a flummoxing decision.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm just guessing every time I speak,
Do me a favor, vote, and get the mic to win so he has a mic.
Yeah, dude.
You
Don't
got it,
leave him
fellas.
flummoxed, please.
Thanks so much, buddy. Get home safe.
Take care, fellas.
Guys, Breckenridge Brew is the official beer of DNVR. We got beers right here on tap. You know what's fun? The World Cup.
Kale, can you give me 10 Breckenridge beers right now?
Just 10 of them straight. We got the World Cup going on here at the
Dude,
DNVR
it's
Bar.
fun.
So much fun, man. Can you pull up some of those during this commercial, Kale? Maybe pull up some of those photos from the World Cup. Honestly, Friday is going to be Madhouse. I think DNVR 2.0, it's relatively new still.
Sure.
I think Monday's World Cup game was the single best it's been so far. Packed, loud,
Yes, well, of course.
incredible.
To this point, the DNVR 1.0 shuttered its doors as the Colorado Avalanche hoisted the cup.
That's right.
And since then, there's been nothing of note that's happened
That's
in
kinda
Colorado sports. And so, yes, it was very fun. It is soccer, I will say that. So you lose a few points. But all the same, the energy was brought. It's super fun to rally behind a common cause. And it's fun to watch something that the literal world is invested in. I don't know what we can expect out of Team USA, but it feels good just to get the juices flowing in this place again.
Speaking of juices, you know what we have? The Juice Drop IPA from Breckenridge Brewery.
hell
'Cause
yeah.
nothing
What a
goes-
segue.
I love when you have World Cup like this Friday. You know what I'm doing?
What are you gonna do?
Drinking beer at 11 o'clock in the morning. I
Dude.
can't wait for. I'm going to have a little breakfast brunch here at the DNVR Bar, and then I'm going to have a beer. Also, the Avalanche Amber, which is the official beer of fall. It's actually getting into a little bit more of the cold part of. There's warm fall and cold fall.
You
We're
wish.
segueing into cold fall.
You don't seem like a cold fall guy.
I'm not a cold fall guy. I'm not a cold fall guy. You can also get the Strawberry Sky, the Vanilla Porter Jr. Vanilla Porter Jr.'s in a bit of a slump right now.
I know, dude.
We
Maybe
got- maybe don't get the
let's
Vanilla Porter
let
Jr.
the Vanilla Porter Jr. rest on the shelf a little bit longer before you really dive in.
Breckenridge Brewery has a beer for every season. Use the Breck Brew locator at breckbrew.com to find out where they have it near you. Also want to tell you guys about DraftKings Sportsbook.
Hell yeah.
America's top-rated sportsbook app. I didn't even get my freaking Jokic triple-double bet because he only got 9
got a
rebounds tonight.
Soundboard double, baby.
Soundboard, I'm so mad, man. I'm so mad about that. How'd we do on our other
You
bets?
should have got that.
Yeah. Did we do okay at all tonight?
Meh.
All right, not so great. Guys, the NBA season is heating up. It's heating up.
Can you feel that? Can you feel the heat?
What I'm looking, you're looking to get on all the action. Use DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers bet just $5 pregame money line on any NBA team to win their game, and you get $150 in free bets if they do. They've also got the stepped up same game parlays. You opt in. They give you a little bonus every single time.
Hell yeah.
So you spread a little single game parlay. They didn't have them today for the Nuggets. We'll forgive them because it was a late
Well,
ad.
the-
You know, it's
oh
hard.
yeah, the Nuggets themselves were not able to be bet upon because
They showed up
caught it
late.
and they had to figure out the
Good
odds.
thing because
and
I would have totally taken
Oh, I
Bones
would've
points
gone-
and everything.
I would have gone ham on some bets.
I would have been Bones threes, Bones points, Bones point rebound and assist. I would have lost all of them because it would have been like
See,
Bones missing because of
At
illness.
the end of the day, DraftKings looking out for all of
They
us.
saved us. Download the app, Sign up, use promo code DNVR, place a $5 pregame moneyline bet, and win $150 in free bets if you win. That's promo code DNVR. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Do you guys want to know the single play, Dev? If there was one play that defined this game, what would it be? There was one play, and it defines exactly what this game was.
I think I know which one.
I think it's the one where they just refused to get the ball to Jokic.
Yeah,
that one
ended up with,
probably
it
right.
ended up with Aaron Gordon hoisting up the most ridiculous
air
three-point
ball?
shot. Yes.
That's the right answer, but I'm going to go for a funnier answer. It was the Aaron Gordon fouled on a three-pointer. They They challenge it. Detroit challenges it.
Turns into
the
a
review
flagrant.
turns out it's actually a flagrant foul.
That was
the
insane.
worst challenge ever. Like when you challenge, you either win or lose. Rarely do you get
insulted.
insulted on top of it. No, it's actually flagrant. And then he missed all 3 free throws.
And then Aaron Gordon, who, in case you're following at home, literally lives on a basketball court. He lives on a basketball court. He missed all 3 free throws.
That was a metaphor for this game.
That was
the
dude.
Pistons tried their best to lose it, and Denver was like, "No, thank you."
What
thank
was
you.
that? There's so many moments. I hate that we're reliving this game. This is terrible.
I don't know what else to do. I mean, Aaron Gordon was good tonight. He was a
gotta work
plus
out the
21. He had 17.7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. He goes 7-2. I am a little worried about his free throws, though, Dev.
I'm worried about it. It was the 3 straight. Like that actually determined if his free throws are bad or not. The thing that bothered me about it is he had everything going in the first half, and it seemed like he was on the bench for a long time. Like he only played 28 minutes in this game, and when you're watching the game, it looked like he had the most energy out of everybody on the team. He's dunking everything that came his way.
Yep.
Super aggressive on the boards and things like that. So why was he not playing? Why didn't he play more?
He was the one that was actually sick. And I don't know, maybe Jokic, maybe Murray were sick too, but a lot of times NBA professional athletes, they get COVID, and not everybody gets sick from it every time.
Jokic looked like he had been sick.
I thought
Not in his effort, but just he
just
had
his face.
his eyes were red. He looked like especially disheveled.
He looked like he didn't expect to be able to be cleared today because it wasn't shaved. He looked a little
that never factors into Jokic's decision making pregame. But he just had a look about him like a man who had been maybe laid up the last.
Jokic
Then he
was
came
so
out and
good.
just dominated. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Absolutely doesn't matter.
But Aaron Gordon tonight, Jokic and Aaron Gordon, man, those two guys, man, they're just, Malone likes to tie them together, play their minutes. But I'm guessing that's why, Dev, because I'm with you. Everybody else played freaking 35 minutes. He plays 29.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's because he was the one that's actually sick.
Yeah, and then also at the end of the game, it looked like he actually was upset, sad about missing the game winner. It really,
Of course.
Of course he was. Yeah.
No, he cared. He
he
cared.
truly did care.
They
about
all
that.
cared.
Man, Murray
know.
needed to care way
Yeah,
more
listen,
tonight.
I don't know if
Murray did not
everybody
look like he
cared.
cared. I mean, he walked the ball up in clutch
I don't
time.
think. To me, it's not an indictment of his desire to be.
We know
great.
he has desire to win.
Yeah, he just listen, he's not feeling his best. I'm not feeling my best. I've had a terrible show.
Sometimes you can agree that there are some days you feel like you want to grab the bull by the horns, and there's some days you don't.
Yeah, but I guess the
We
larger
think in
point is that
aggregate he does.
The larger point, yes, it's driven by the fact that he's just not feeling great at the moment. It's not something about his innate desire to.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael Porter tonight had an interesting one. I mean, he gets 18 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks, which is his best game in recent memory. But he did still go 1 for 5 from 3, Dev.
Yeah, it's a bummer that the shot's not falling. He's actually in a shooting slump.
It's wild.
After stating that he shot 70% from 3 in high school.
Dude, the freaking
The
basketball
basketball
gods
they
never.
hate liars. That's what it is.
They love
hate
LeBron
liars.
James.
But honestly, that was not a horrible. That's a good one.
Thanks,
That's
bro.
not a horrible game from MPJ. Really, he's that was his one of his most locked in games on defense. Super active, going after every single block in the game, and
Yeah.
you end up having 2 of them where he's just not giving up on plays. Also, he sees that his shot's not falling. He's trying to find other ways to get involved. This is a game that he attacked the rim a lot more than he has because the shot is not falling. There was that play in the game where a lot of people are frustrated about there was supposed to be a foul call that they believe. I felt like he should have shot the ball and at his sweet spot, the mid range where it's been falling for him. He decided to go in, got it beat out the gym, and it's just one of those type of games for him. But I don't look at that game and think that was a bad MPJ game. I just wish the shot was falling, and I'm worried that it has not came back.
He actually like had by some measure had a pretty good game.
I agree,
but he looked soft at times also, which like it is bothersome to me. He just like I don't know, man. He's just not also at his apex of power and strength. Like he is still drifting inside the 3-point line a lot of times. Like not. It doesn't seem like he's really engaged necessarily with what's happening. He's sort of like resigned to the idea he's not going to get the ball or something. I can't quite figure it out. And then when he gets it, it just doesn't have that power and that snap when he shoots the ball. Like he had a couple of shots that look like resembled that a little bit, but like on the whole, he's just not. I don't know. I just feel like he got really humbled the last couple games, and it's like he's got to Mike himself.
I felt like this was a game, again, had they won it, that we would be talking about this as a steadying game for him, meaning that he started off a little shaky, but he started to make a couple things, and I think it was one that maybe gets the momentum back to like, okay, here's where you're getting shots with Jokic.
He did a lot of good things tonight, for sure.
I agree. That's why I say I think this was actually Michael Porter didn't stand out to me as one of the big problems tonight. Personally, maybe he will on rewatch, but I felt like he was improving as the game went on here. I want to share. Is it bad if I share we have a group chat. If I share the group chat, Vogt's takes today, his spicy takes.
Don't share the racist ones he told us about.
You don't want me to bring those ones up?
Just leave those out. Tell us about the rest.
All right. Can I do the rest of them though? Can I do the rest of them?
You'll have to
really filter these. You'll see what I'm going to say.
It's going to be hard.
What's that?
Triple down.
He's definitely kidding, guys. He's definitely kidding. He shared an interesting one today because Vogt is the Tiny King stan. He loves the Tiny. He stands a Tiny King.
He's the tiny subject.
The tiny subject.
The king has a subject.
Oh, okay. There you go. He stands the Tiny Kings. All right. And the point he brought up, which I think is a little bit of an interest. I think it's actually unfair. Terrible. The thing he brought up tonight was that at least Facu was available last year, and you're not saying this like necessarily as a thing, but he's just saying like, look. There is something too. I honestly think losing Ish Smith has been a major thing. And a guy got hurt, man. I don't know what you can blame him. A guy got hurt, freak accident or something. It's a freak thing that Denver's been down Bones, Ish, Jamal in portions. And I will say this though. It is kind of funny. Like Denver does right by all their guys. They have Colin Gillespie. It is one of those things where like, no, we're keeping him on. We're not going to get another two-way. Yeah. Because and then like all of a sudden disaster strikes. You're like, damn it, we really could use anybody.
Cut guys. You don't lose your job in the Denver Nuggets by getting hurt. We lose games as a result.
And by the way, I still think it's the right call. It just sucks that somehow the basketball gods find that whenever the Nuggets do something that's like, hey, they're doing right by players here, the gods are like, oh, we'll punish that.
Yeah, they're like, that's not the right thing to do.
Yeah, this was slap in the face type of scenario though, because. In the last couple of years, Will Facu's been here. It's been nothing but guards. Like there's been a plethora of guards for when somebody goes down, and they could just insert a guy, even though he has been available a lot of those times. And then also we got to see him in even a playoff, game. Now you make the decision to keep Gillespie on the team, even though he's not going to play this year, and you need a guard.
He needed so bad
now,
a point guard,
where you also have the option to go through like a list of guys that you could bring up. And I understand making your guy happy, but also you need these wins. You need to have a guy, and also Ish Smith hasn't been available. Bones has been going through everything, You need a point. Jamal's coming back off of an injury, so this is a year that you try to get as many options as you can, and it just didn't happen. So just bad luck.
Just bad luck, man. But I'm telling you, they could avail it. What's the best ability? The best availability. We don't have that right now.
Nikola Jokic won 2 MVPs on that line.
Well, I don't know. We got Harrison Wind ready to go. Why don't we bring him in? We're going to go long. We're going to have a short third segment. That's okay.
Hey, boy.
Harrison,
what's up,
you
guys?
Crack it up?
Yeah, because
Aaron,
the best ability is not available.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. There you are. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Right. That was definitely not my fault.
No, I saw Kale push something. So
yeah, the best ability is not availability. You guys are completely wrong. The best ability is being good at basketball.
Yeah,
all right, I agree.
Basketball ability is the best ability.
Man, can you show us a real quick fit check? What do we have going on here? Does this look like? Is this a suit?
Yeah. No, we got the bomber jacket. here, but it was a little cold in the arena tonight, so I'm wearing the pea coat on top.
Is that a Pico with the DNVR shirt under?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Dev.
That is wicked.
Oh my goodness! All right, all right. What happened? First of all, give me your take. I'm like, I don't usually get like too mad after. I'm mad after this game.
Oh, we're mad as hell. We won't take it anymore.
And I want to know, am I like out of pocket am I out of pocket
No.
for thinking this was like absolutely ridiculous?
You're not out of pocket, man. The Pistons are the worst team in the NBA. They lost 7 in a row. They've lost 10 of their last 11. They hadn't won a game on the road all season. They're terrible. They're awful. They're down Cade Cunningham, their best player by a mile. They're down Sadiq Bey, who is probably their 3rd best player. This was a bad loss any way you cut it. I know Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic hadn't done anything for the last week. They still should have smoked them tonight. They really should have.
All right, so take me to the players. Who talked?
Talked to Aaron Gordon and Joker tonight.
The 2 guys who didn't suck tonight.
I know. They're like, I don't know. I thought it was pretty good.
All right, what do they have to say?
I mean, Aaron Gordon, he was pretty composed. He said he felt, definitely less than 100% tonight, and just that their timing was off. He felt like, especially between him, Joker, and Jamal. He just said like our timing in those 3-man sets was a little off, and that is just always frustrating to lose. But in frustration, you can find growth. And then I thought the most interesting thing that Aaron Gordon said tonight was that the decision to miss that free throw, for Jamal Murray to miss that free throw, he said Joker called for that.
I love it.
He said that was Joker's idea.
It's a good
and
idea.
They got a great look out of it. It was a good idea. I mean, I think it was their only option with 3 seconds left and no timeouts.
I love this note, though, because you know what? 9 out of 10 teams will shoot the free throw, make it. Foul, there's 1.5 seconds left. Then you have to go the full court. I'm always like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Well,
So-
yeah, they didn't have any free throw or any timeouts.
It would have come down to the Christian Leitner pass versus the can you grab the rebound. I think the rebound is more likely.
Chanchar, half court.
Oh, shit, we would have won!
God damn it, we had it in our pocket.
We would have just put in Chalky at the end.
I mean,
Damn it! Oh, you're so
but
right.
I feel like that's interesting, but it's also interesting that Joker calls for that and not the coach.
I mean, at those moments, clear out, man. Let Yo do his thing.
I mean, maybe Malone was calling for it too. I don't know, but AG was like, yeah, that was Joker's idea.
Oh.
Then he was talking about just his matchup with Bojan Bogdanovic. He said, Bojan, look, he's a smart player, uses his size well to create matchup problems for us. He's big for a guard, shifty for a big. He can shoot the ball, but I think we did a pretty good job on him tonight. Bogdanovic always seems to hurt the Nuggets. Always. No matter what team he's on. He could be on the Houston Rockets in 10 years and drop 20-something.
I mean, did he hurt the Nuggets tonight? He scored 22. It's the Pistons. They're the worst team. Somebody has to score points.
Yeah,
he was all right. He was 8 of 17.
Yeah, he just always it's just like he hit the right shot. He and Alec Burks.
Alec Burks to me is the one.
Which, by the way, I'm sure Harrison was each time was mad, but secretly cheering for. CU alumnus Alec Burks.
Yeah,
I was okay with it.
all right.
And then Aaron Gordon said it came down to second chance points tonight. And this was something Malone hit on as well. Malone was like, yeah, the reason we lost mostly was because we didn't box out. We didn't box out Jalen Durant. So that's something Aaron Gordon also hit on. And points off turnovers as well. I mean, I'm sure you guys touched on this, but just the points off turnovers were ridiculous tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we spoke to Joker. He said he felt good, but it felt like he hadn't played in a bit. He was a little tired, but he just felt a little off. He did call this a bad loss, though. He said, I don't know why we lost, but this is a bad loss.
I agree.
Was he frustrated?
Yeah, he was a little frustrated, but I don't think irate about the loss. But definitely frustrated. I mean, it's not often when he calls a loss a bad loss, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say I agree with that.
They're not often this bad.
And then, I mean, he was just talking about how it just felt like he hadn't played for a while. His rhythm, his timing wasn't quite there. And then we did get some insightful stuff from him about the last week. He said he was pretty much just at his house alone. His family wasn't there at all.
Oh,
And
wow.
that had already been planned, he said, because I think it was just the plan for them, not to be there because they were supposed to be on the road. And
Right.
also he didn't want to affect them or infect them, I guess I should say. So he was by himself, but he did get a Peloton. The
hell
Nuggets
yeah.
gave him a Peloton. He's a big Peloton guy now. He says he's going to buy one.
Did you give him your app? Your Peloton?
Yeah, we're going to be friends on there. We're going to link up for some rides. Maybe tomorrow morning. We might
I
link up
love
a
it.
little,
I
little
love
8
it.
a.m. hip-hop 30-minute ride.
Oh, yes.
Peloton Prince.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got from those guys. It was short tonight. Short and sweet.
Really was not sweet at all in
nothing
any,
sweet
in
about
absolutely
that,
any,
dude.
any way. So, all right, Harrison, get home safe. Can't wait to see what you write.
Later, guys.
Later, guys. Vodka TV is the new GOAT in Colorado sports. That is the greatest of all television. I've got this. My wife got it set up. Hey, hon, how did you like the game tonight? She had it set up. I'm sure she watched. I was actually called her at halftime. She was watching.
Oh,
How
yeah.
miserable it must
Isn't
be.
that funny what a novelty that is? You're like, she was watching the Nuggets.
Yeah, you know whose fault that isn't though is a Vodka TV. It's not their fault the Nuggets suck.
No.
tonight. They do apologize though for providing you an ability to watch this game.
Yeah, is
They
it
do
good that you can watch the Nuggets on a Vodka TV?
You know,
we haven't talked about that.
Is a vodka bad? Maybe vodka's bad. They're bringing us the Nuggets. But they do feature Altitude Sports and AT&T Sportsnet. So if you want what I believe to be the single cheapest way in Denver
It
to get
is.
the Avs and the Nuggets right to your home, Vodka TV. You guys know all about the deal. It's a phenomenal one. You get the receiver, you sign up, and you get the DNVR channel right there where it's. Right, it actually does work this way because now that we have it set up,
Yeah.
it's got Altitude Sports and guess what's right next to it? DNVR.
Losers Lounge.
Ours two go right because old guys like me, I flip through channel. I'm like, what was that number? What channel is ESPN again? This or that? Altitude, DNVR. Boom, boom.
A chilling image. You.
Side by side, and then of course on demand will be 100 invisible threads.
Oh, hell yeah!
Before it
dude.
had been only free at certain times. Now it's going to be on demand. You can watch it any single time. So sign up.
I personally demand it.
Yeah, a lot of people are demanding. People are saying. Also want to tell you about the Game Time app tonight. This would have been an all-time Game Time app night. To be honest with you,
truly.
Game Time is made for this because guess what? Nobody was buying tickets to this game. They're like, oh, no Murray, no Jokic, no Gordon, no Bones. And then last minute, all those are there. So guess what? All those tickets are just sitting there. You could have got this ticket for probably $1.
I don't really think you thought this all the way through. Even
You could have been there tonight when they
$1 would maybe to pay for ultimate misery.
Game Time app, though, is awesome. It's great for procrastinators. And if you love DNVR, you'll love Game Time. The best way to support us is buying tickets through the link in this very description. Kale's got it up on the right there. So you never have to remember a website or a URL or anything.
Can you remember YouTube?
Just remember DNVR's YouTube page. Go into the description, click on Game Time. And I'm telling you, send us a testimonial so we can retweet them. Honestly, good products. I love it when people share. This is what I like. You go down to Ball Arena and you catch a game and you use Game Time app and you get a good deal. Let us know so we can let the whole world know because it really is that way. We've used it for Broncos games. We've even used it for Rockies games.
There's a lot of pain to be purchased on the Game Time app.
You know what? You're right. This is a horrible sell. What am I doing over here?
I don't know. You're like, oh, hey guys, you know how miserable this was. You could have gone.
Do we like the Nuggets?
I do not like the Nuggets. We're taking a break.
All right, let's get to some Super Chats, Kale. For the sickos.
Oh, I
The
love the
sickest
sickos.
of the sickos, man. I can't read this far. I got to go get
It says,
LASIK
who
again.
is most to blame for the 14 men per game Jokic sits on the bench over the last 4 years? A,
Man,
non-Jokic players. B,
this is
Malone.
great.
C, front office regimes.
I love this question because I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been thinking about this a lot, Dev. And it feels, again, it's not, I don't want to, anytime you talk about this subject, it feels like a hot take, right? Because it feels like you're saying something. It's alarming to me, though, that every year, last 2 years, we didn't think it was that alarming. Yoke on the court, of course. They're missing other guys, so they can't carry him. Now you got your guys back.
Yeah.
And still, the Nuggets, when they have Jokic on the court, look like the 96 Bulls. When they don't have him, they lose to the GD Pistons.
Ugh.
Honestly, answer this question for me because Is there a good answer to this, D-line?
I believe that they have, as we've talked about, Michael Malone is not good in making decisions on the fly. I feel like they just have it locked in. Like this is just he comes in at this time. They got it's just like a regimented thing. It's like it's like not even a negotiable.
Yeah.
It just is how it is. Like it's how it's done. He's an old school coach. I'm sure his father imparted this upon him. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure that this is just like a tried and true recipe that's been passed down from the Malone.
Yeah. I will say this though, because I want to come to Bones Highland's defense. I know some fans of Bones is over dribbling. He's taking a lot of shots, or they've been critical of him. Guys, when he's not out there, the bench is 10 times more of a disaster.
It's so bad.
I mean, to me, we need to like relax on all of those criticisms because clearly there's not a good example of how that unit's supposed to roll, right? Dev, do you want to get hot here, or you still want to answer that question?
No, I think it's because the Nuggets are so Jokic dominant. Like he's their best player. He's who they built the entire team around. So when they don't have that guy on, they're just kind of just trying to figure it out. Just because of how talented a player he is, you can't duplicate that. So I think that's just kind of what you have to suspect, and you just have to stop the bleeding when he's not in, and hope that the second unit can have a guy like Bones that could take those minutes up.
It is hilarious though. We watched Coach Pesic captain the Serbian national team, and when they were eliminated, it was like, why didn't you play Jokic? We're like,
dude, I'm telling
any
you,
Jokic-based team, it's like, never take Jokic out, you dumb idiot.
This is my thing, though. This is what I'm getting at. It doesn't make any logical sense. I don't think there's got to be some reason that no matter where Jokic goes, as soon as he goes to the bench, the team falls apart. There's got to be something to it. It happens to Team Serbia, happens to the Nuggets when they have their full squad, happens to the Nuggets when they don't have it. It doesn't make any sense.
It's just like he's too great, right?
I don't know what
everybody else is like. Everyone else is just like,
Jokic was a plus 13 tonight, and he played all but 11 minutes. You only needed to lose by 1 point per minute that he was out, and you would have won this game. But they lost by more than 1 point per minute. I don't get it. All right, sorry. That was a rough first super
But wait
chat.
a minute, are we proposing that Jokic never leave the court?
Look, I mean, here's all I'm saying. Jokic dead tired playing the Wilt Chamberlain 48.5 minutes per game is still better than whatever the other option is.
I mean, I think that he shouldn't play the whole game. Well, all right.
There is an answer for this. Just sent a $5 super chat. He says, why not take Jokic out earlier in the first and third and play a majority of the second and fourth quarters? That bench is full of Jokic ball players.
Man. I'll let you take this one because I have takes and I don't want to steal them all.
The staggering with the bench unit, then that means that DeAndre Jordan has to play with the starters.
So
I don't know if that's even the answer.
Dude, tonight was so bad. We didn't even talk about how bad DeAndre Jordan.
He was so bad.
He was atrocious.
He was so good last game. We all gave the flowers. We're like, you know what, DJ, we got to get credit. And he was rode that one to tonight.
Goddamn bad. He was horrific.
But there was somebody in that in that last game that was not in this game. Bones. He plays well alongside Bones.
I thought you were going to say Vlatko Čečar. I was like, let's go.
He has, but he knows
White.
what Bones is. He knows he's going to take shots.
Yeah.
He knows he's going to be able to roll to the rim and things like that. When he now has to step out and do the extra things, he has nothing to do out there. He has no place to be. So you just need to have more guys that are able to score and set them up and things like that.
Jokic needs to play the 9 minutes he always plays. His rotation doesn't change. I will say this. Christian Brown is a Jokic player. He plays mostly with the bench. He is a Jokic player. Bruce Brown is a Jokic player. Aaron Gordon's a Jokic player. Aaron Gordon's the one guy I don't think you tie. Jamal and Porter, to me, if you got to send them both to the bench, send them both to the bench. To me, this is one. If you are worried about these things, I would maybe try that. Not the one player stagger, maybe both of them stagger. Just try it out and see what happens. Because I love Jokic playing with Brown, KCP, Brown, Gordon. That's a great lineup. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad we're talking this out. I was pretty angry at the top. Now that I've had a little time to reflect on this, I really think that most of the players were sick and they didn't play good. And that's really what it comes down to. I don't know if there's any systemic things that we're really needing to attack here, except for that. Systemically.
Almost certainly true. What else we got?
Eloy Zamora said, upset but not worried. This team will be rolling by the All-Star
I
break.
agree.
Dude,
Still
Eloy gets it like
championship
nobody else
or
does.
bust.
I agree.
I
Although,
don't want to bust.
there's also part of me that thinks the Nuggets will just keep picking up new illnesses between now and the All-Star break.
Dude, are we gonna get the monkeypox?
We're 2 illnesses into the year. We're 15 games into the season. We already have 2 illnesses. Is there
So we definitely had COVID. Did Aaron Gordon have monkeypox? They wouldn't say what it was.
monkeypox? What else we got?
Morgan Jones said, basketball god's punishment for super chat.
Man, he might be right.
That guy shouldn't have came in here today. Smug it.
Oh no!
I'm not gonna say it.
How
though.
responsible am I at this point? I've not said it in some time, but I did bring this. I did birth this. Is this like? At what point am I no longer? Is it like you have a bad kid, and at a certain point, that kid needs to be responsible?
Eric did birth something into the universe that's
I
so
brought Damien in.
horrible.
Listen, I don't know what else to do.
All right.
Astray says, I just want to know why Malone goes with Davon over Christian. We needed this game badly. Now we desperately need a win from OKC on a back-to-back.
I mean, we don't desperately need
Nug life.
anything.
Yeah, so yeah, that was what I was gonna say.
I know,
They
it's too
don't
early to be
desperately,
desperate.
need a win.
I mean, our
Also,
vibes just need a desperate.
Our
boost.
vibes need it. We need it because we're going to be with our families on Thursday.
Also, this last game, like this was a 2-game straight. You looked at the schedule, you're like, oh, those are 2 easy games for Denver. Now, you do have to play a lot harder. And also, you don't want to have 2 back-to-back tough losses, especially bringing those guys back. So, like, that's a tough spot to be in. Where I do think that tomorrow's game is actually important.
Yeah.
It's not important. None of this. I mean, it's early. None of this is important. It's just like
It's not. It's just important for us.
that's exactly right. Which, if I think about it, is the most important thing about
most
this goddamn
important.
Nuggets season is that we have to be here every game and talk about every game like it's life or death. This is not a life or death game, although this game did feel like death.
We just want our Nuggets to reward us for our
yes.
undying adoration.
Our
and love.
devotion has only been shown cold responses, a backhand from the gods over and over. All the same, we're going to be all right. We're going to move forward. Yeah. The next game, they're going to win, and we're going to be like, oh, the Nuggets are back. Look how great this is. We finally, but those guys looked sick. They looked really sick. Like I'm starting to feel bad for the Suns. They lost by 50 points to the Mavs.
Oh my God! Wow, what a take! The hottest of all takes today. Wow,
this game was
the worst take. This is ruined, Eric.
This game was so bad. I have let the Suns off the hook.
That's hilarious. Jack Bailey has
We're
the
down
exact
so
same.
That's how bad it is.
He has the exact same analysis from Adam, who's been on it for a while. Jamal takes so much time off the clock. It's crazy. He was jogging down the court with 8
He just
seconds.
jogged.
He really
Just a
was
leisurely,
jogging.
like.
He's just- I really do. I mean, he might have been sick, but even before he was sick, like Murray, we always say it. He's coming off injury, so he gets a little bit of a pass, but he just doesn't look like he's in like Devin Booker shape. You know, Devin Booker looks so thin and like fast
I'm telling
and
you,
quick. Like,
both Jokic and Murray have lost all definition.
You're saying from the sickness, but I'm saying this from before.
No.
Like,
I'm just saying from whatever the
Jokic lost his definition.
he started off the year. He's already rounded into Eric Weedham form this quickly. It's
Wow.
All right, we have another super chat that says, better we didn't pull it off in the end. Don't want to reinforce Nuggets feeling they can cruise to a title. No, the worst team can beat you if you sleep.
that is like
silver lining right there.
man, I hope you're not somebody's dad. I mean, that's just like what my dad would do to me. It's like, like
You'll learn.
if it's gonna be bad, it's gonna be bad.
You got caught. You smoke every cigarette right now in front of me. You know?
You're not gonna walk out of here with a victory. Right? I'll tell you that much right now.
All right, what else we got?
We have another super chat. What Jokic needs to do is shake Murray by the collar and say, hey, dude, I realize you're coming off of an injury, but wake the hell up.
He said, what did Murray say he's going to suck for, or Jokic say he's going to suck for 20 games?
games.
What are the Nuggets at 17? We got 3 more games to suck.
Hell yeah, dude. 3 games to suck. Use them wisely, you stupid Nuggets.
I will say I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. 2 road games coming up, OKC and then the Clippers. After that, though, you got the Rockets back-to-back. That does feel to me like a new chapter.
Don't write off any games at this point.
Yeah, fucking 0-2 against Houston. Damn it.
Danny K. This we should have ended with this one.
That's why I'm showing you a different one.
Oh, there we go. I'm glad that you said that. Unacceptable loss. No excuse. Why do bad things always happen to great people?
Yeah, like us.
The type of game that'll take a few years for the Nuggets to recover from.
Oh God.
Man, he is.
Can you imagine?
He is down bad today.
Can you imagine when we win the title, but we're like, that game.
I cannot believe
That's
Jalen Duren.
that goddamn game. This game sucks. I promise you're not going to remember this game.
I can't wait to forget this game. I honestly cannot wait to forget this game, and I will. It might be 10 days from now I'll forget it.
I'm going to forget it tomorrow.
I won't be that quick. I can't wait to forget it.
Richard says, no excuses, but the Nuggets still don't have a dedicated practice facility, and the Detroit Pistons do.
You're right. You're right. This loss is so bad. We're bringing out all the big guns. I love it. Let's go. What else do we got? Hold on. Let's go to all the well for all of these. What else can we get?
The reason we lost this game is because the Cronkies are so focused on Manchester United. Their brains are in Los Angeles.
That's
They're
right.
across the pond.
Yep.
And furthermore, they won't build a practice facility.
Also, those jerseys aren't good.
Yeah,
like
dude, the jerseys don't pop on the court. They look like
they don't
COVID
pop.
tests. And what happened, dude?
The team hasn't played well since they debuted them.
No, dude, they are literal Trojan horses for the coronavirus.
Hey, you know what? They
the
would
novel coronavirus.
The crowd, I thought tonight was not very loud on the broadcast, and do you know why? Because they're not on TV.
Oh my God!
They're not on TV.
It's unbelievable.
That's why they lost tonight.
Out of the building.
That's why they lost, because they're not on TV, man. Damn it! All right, we're done.
All right, and to close us out,
hit that outro music, Kale.
I need to get the right.
Hit that outro
This is a
music.
good
I don't
one.
care.
Danny K. Bummer of a game, but it is the last home game till Thanksgiving. So this year, I'm thankful for the Nuggets bringing me closer with my dad. And since I know he'll hear this tomorrow, I love you, Dad.
Oh my God!
Love that
dude.
one, man.
Bring that in here, man.
My
Bring
dad
that
will be
in
listening
here.
too. Love you too, Dad.
My dad would not hear this.
I just wish
F
my
you,
actual dad loved me. But I'll take Dev. What a way better choice.
All right, you know what? This is what it is. Twitter. You once said, Eric, and is very wise, and I think it's very true, that Twitter is just people's emotions in real time. It's like
Twitter is a way to catalog emotions as they happen.
it's the entire Earth's emotions.
Yes.
It's like if you, like, an alien could observe every tweet in real time, they would just be like, okay, humans are feeling sad right now. Or
Yeah.
happy
Oh, yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
tense.
Yeah, the seas were angry tonight.
The scenes are angry. And then like this show too. It's like, you know what? It's an instant reaction pod. It's not
For
always
sure,
like
dude.
it's not always like we get into the exos. Go back and rewatch, and then we'll break it down. Harrison's gonna write a great piece. We'll have some stuff.
Yeah, all right, please.
But it's sometimes good just to share in the raw emotion
You
of it.
have to get. This is.
When people are like, I don't like the losers lounge, I'm like, what's wrong with you? That's where you get all of your
Yeah,
anger.
what do you
out.
like? What, like just ruining your life?
Yeah.
Just going in and taking these negative emotions to your loved ones. This is the thing about sports, man. I say this over and over and over. Is that for me and maybe for others, like sports where I put all of my emotions, all of my negative emotions and my good emotions.
Yeah.
My good emotions I also save for real life, but like these kinds of feelings where you just are like viscerally angry at Jamal Murray, who is somebody, if I like hung out with him, I'd be like, this is the best day of my life. But like,
Yeah, maybe.
well, he probably
If you
likes me.
watched him play basketball,
He probably
likes
likes me more than he likes you. But the point being is that like it's good to exercise these demons, to allow these emotions to happen and not let them seep into your real life. You need the Losers Lounge. It's therapeutic. Don't take it out on your loved ones. Take it out
on us.
on DeAndre Jordan. You suck tonight. You were so bad, dude.
Good night, everybody.
Let's go.